What's going on, everybody? It's me, EM Roku, and today I'll be doing something that I've never really done on my channel before, and that is a review on a video game. And this video game, if you can tell from the title, Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, I never really done one of these, like I said, so cut me some slack. And without further ado, let's get into it. A lot of people seem to have the same negative opinion about Final Fantasy 13, which is the battle system is untraditional, the characters are basic and annoying, and the stupidest one of all, the game can be completed by mashing the X button.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Basically an overall negative opinion of the game. But this review isn't just about me contradicting the bad things that people say about this game. This is going to be me giving a detailed explanation to why I love and hate the game. First off is the story. The main character, Lightning, begins her fight against the government to save her sister who's been branded a Pulse l'Cie. Lightning is soon joined by a band of allies, and together the group also becomes marked as l'Cie by the fal'Cie anima in the Pulse Vestige. They fight against the Sanctum while trying to discover their focuses and whether or not they can avoid being turned into Crystal after the completion. I'll be the first to admit the story can get somewhat complicated at some points. Like with the many forms of military, the Sanctum and the PSICOM, I couldn't really understand that at the beginning, but I had to look into the information section of the game to actually figure out what those were. But if you're able to keep up with the terms and pay attention to the story, then it shouldn't really be a problem. At points it can get really touching like in chapter 8, then really hype like in the final battle. Also, I think I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed the story. Like, I really like the fact that first Lightning didn't believe what Sarah was saying. She didn't want to accept Snow's and Sarah's relationship. But at the end, it all comes through. It all gets turned around. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to spoil it for anybody, but it's a really nice story. It's a really touching story too. It's not just Lightning and Sarah, but it's also the other characters. I like their stories too. Now I'll talk about the gameplay. One thing I always hear is that the game can be beat by mashing the X button, and that statement alone just makes me want to fucking kill myself.
Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
I'm not even gonna talk about that again. Just get that out of here. Just get that out of here. Another problem that people have with it is that they feel like the game is a huge hallway, which is true, but it doesn't really take away from the enjoyment of the game for me personally. And it kind of makes sense, seeing as how they don't really have the luxury to stop and explore because they're constantly being chased down. Those PSICOM niggas, they're everywhere. They literally pop out of everywhere in each chapter. It's crazy. Which brings me to my next point. I really enjoyed the hallway-like nature of the game because it forces you to keep moving and to see what happens next. That factor was always leaving me wanting to record another episode in my LP. The only things I really hate about Final Fantasy 13 is that the Phoenix Down don't automatically revive you when you die like they do in other Final Fantasy games, and some of the bosses were extremely difficult and annoying. I'm not even talking about the normal bosses. I'm not talking about the normal bosses alone. I'm talking about the Eidolons too, or Eidolons or whatever. I don't know why it's pronounced like that, but yeah, the bosses were really hard sometimes, and it was just, I had to stop sometimes. I had to take a break from recording the episode that I was on and pick it back up the next day. That's how hard they were sometimes. It was crazy. People also say that the battle system isn't good because it's different from the basic Final Fantasy battle system, which if you play the others, I can understand that you wouldn't like a change that big, but the battle system in 13 is beautiful. I love the fact that everybody has their roles, from doing damage to giving debuffs and buffs, and I love that only one character is controlled by the player, which encourages setting up your teams perfectly for the next battle. I really love the characters too, even Hope. At the beginning, nobody likes Hope, but I feel like the majority of the people who play it, once they see his development and his growth over the story, then I feel like they'll come to like him at the end. But the two most that I loved were Sazh, because I can relate to his negative personality because he's sometimes negative, sometimes positive. Lightning, because she's a cool female protagonist who obviously has been through a lot, and I can't wait to see more of her being revealed in 13-2 and Lightning Returns. People say she's a ripoff of Cloud, but Cloud is fucking gross. I don't see it because she is standoffish to the point where it seems cruel, and she is cruel sometimes to people. It's not that she seems cruel, but she is cruel. And Cloud is just he's standoffish, but he's not cruel. He's just like, Okay, I'm gonna go sit in the corner. Fuck my life. But I feel like Lightning will definitely tell you how it is, and that's why I like her. I also really want her to beat me up. One thing I always love to see as an artist and a music lover is a story that works so well with its music and design, and this game did it perfectly for me. I love the great detail and uniqueness of the characters, environments, and the music just ties it all together. I always say that the music in the games that I play on my channel are really good, but this is the first full soundtrack that I can say was dick hardening good. It mixes happiness, sadness, urgency, and I can say that this game might have my favorite soundtrack of all time. So if you couldn't tell already, I love Final Fantasy 13. It's opened my eyes to want to try out more Final Fantasy games, and I can't wait to play 13-2 and Lightning Returns on my channel in the far future. I don't want to do it soon. I got kind of ambitious at the end of the playthrough when I was like, oh, in 2016, October 13th, we're going to do the 13-2, but I'm fucking not. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a good amount of time until my channel has grown a good amount, and then I'll do it. Once I feel confident, I'll do it. With my channel, I'll do it. Alright. If you don't take anything else from this review, please hear this. Don't let people's negative opinions on things influence your opinion on them to the extent that you don't want to try them. If it seems interesting to you and you want to try it out, try it out. Don't not try it because some people say negative things about it. If that was the case for me, I would have never played Final Fantasy 13. That's crazy to think about. And this game was one of my favorite games of all time now. It was so good. So please, if it looks good to you and you want to try it, then try it. Not seem good. We don't really need a mascot so soon. Like, wanna ask him like a relay. Wanna see a beat? You niggas wanna see a hey? Subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
I am trying to get fried. I bought some weed and you can smoke. You tryna get high, I'm tryna toast.